Hi, I'm Cecil McNeil, a writer filmmaker. Welcome back to my vlog. If there's any detail you need to know about me, is that I'm a huge reader. You can't be a writer without being a reader. If you don't know, now you know. In this era that we're all glued on our phones, it's important to also make time for reading. I can't emphasize it enough. So I'll quickly share my 2025 read. A little about me, I've shared it in my previous vlogs. I typically read a fiction for my entertainment, a non-fiction for my edification, and poetry for my soul. As always, nerd glasses. I'm a book nerd and I'm proud to be one. Then for the non-fiction, last year was just biographies, like autobiographies actually. I just I had a bunch and I just ended up reading all of them last year. So I started with Bamboozled by Jesus. So the last time I did a vlog on it, I had just started the book and I was saying that I didn't really enjoy that Yvonne Orji, she's a comedian, she's African American, she's a Nigerian African American, but she was born there, and she sounds African American, she talks the talk the way they talk, and it's pretty cool, and she kind of writes the book that way, and at first I didn't care for it, but guys, eventually I got into it. I laughed so much. This book was I tend to read the nonfiction in the morning. That's what I do, nonfiction in the morning and then fiction in the night. So I usually start my day that way. I pray, have my devotions, then I read. And it was a very good book to read in the morning because she talks about being bamboozled by Jesus, meaning she's a comedian, she's an actor, she's in Hollywood, but somehow Jesus grabbed her and has kept her to himself. And the book was just full of a lot of spiritual nuggets of wisdom and just a lot of that. I thoroughly enjoyed this book, and I can definitely read it again. If you know me, I rarely read a book twice. I almost never do that, but this is one book I can read again. It was so good and so funny. The next one I picked was Finding Me by Viola Davis. So this book is very interesting, and if you're a fan of Viola Davis, you'll be into it, guys. But when it comes to depression, this book had some depressing parts. Like I would close it and I'll just breathe. I remember I said I read nonfiction in the morning. Oh Lord. And I'll just sit there and I'll be thinking about my life. In fact, I watched a segment on Netflix with her and Oprah, and then Oprah made a joke, which was in the book. She said, growing up, I thought I was poor. That's Poor. But after reading this book, I knew there's a difference in poor and po. Like Viola said, they were po, P-O. Like they couldn't afford the other O-R. And the story has some hectic scenes and things that happened to her growing up. And it's amazing that someone from that background that is just like bad can actually become the amazing, inspiring Oscar winner she is today. For the book is inspiring. It's very depressing scenes, but it's very inspiring. And the next one I picked is You Got Anything Stronger by Gabrielle Union. She had first written biography, We're Gonna Need More Wine, which I thought biographies were one, but apparently you can write a second one. Then the first one, spelled out her life, which is what you expect. So this was since she'd already done that, I did wonder what this book would be about. So each chapter was just about a random thing or a part of her life. Guys, I had mentioned that after I read the first one, I don't know if it made me like her less. This one definitely did. She's someone that is a great actress, but she's not someone that I think I would want in my life. And not even to get political, guys, but there's a particular chapter where she talks about how they let their 7-year-old child start transitioning, and that just blew my mind. Like a 7-year-old child that you can't live at home by himself, that a child that can't vote, can't buy a gun, can't drive, can't make any decisions, but they can make such a life-altering decision. If the kid was 18 and above, I will understand. At least you gave them years to become, to make that kind of decision. But 7, really? I was just like, ugh, yeah. So I don't know. I don't think I'll read anything by her again. Maybe she'll write fiction and I might read it, but I don't know. Yeah. Then I picked up this one, The Light You Carry by Michelle Obama. So like I said about the previous one, I thought biographies won, but apparently you can write a second one. So of course I love Michelle, so I read it. I had started this book, I think 2024. I mentioned that I had to put it down, that I just couldn't get into it. So this time I just told myself I was finishing it. Since I was already reading so many biographies this year, I decided, you know what, just finish the year with all the biographies you have. So she's very smart and insightful. Her first book, Becoming, that one was very interesting. I could barely put it down because it tells you about her early life and how she became a lawyer, then how she met Barack and their life in the presidency. And this one too was just like excerpts of their life in a kind of in a way, but also I think what I enjoyed about it is just the wisdom. Reading this book, you feel a lot wiser because she tells you all these things, and you can see this is a very learned person who knows a lot speaking. So I think that's what I gained from it. But about recommending, I'll just say read the first one, Becoming. Another thing I had to add, all the biographies were about Black women. So it's pretty cool because before recent times, the biographies I always read. I mean, I read Bill Clinton's biography. I read one about a girl called Thelma somebody. So it was pretty cool. So when I was done, I was like, check you out, my biographies about Black women. And I'll be remiss not to mention my own titles. If you don't know, Susan McNeil has published 5 books. We Rule the Night, Every Sun Doesn't Rise, Echoes of Mercy, The Breath, and A Requiem of Loss and Dreams. So check me out. Keep reading, y'all. We can never read enough. See you in the next vlog. Bye.